Hey Tubies, it's Lord Ision. Well, welcome to Wiccan Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about something fascinating. We're going to talk about a mystic god form, a god from the East, an Eastern deity, if you will. So hang with us. Some of you have written to me and you said, Lord Ision, I feel drawn to do Wicca, but I also feel like I'm drawn to Eastern traditions. Can I be a Wiccan, and is it possible to work with beings or deities from the East? And my answer is absolutely yes. As many of you know, for the past few months, I've been doing an intense study in Reiki. And just this week, I received my initiation into the 2nd degree of Reiki. Well, one of the things that I've learned through my Reiki studies is that part of the healing process in Reiki, to channel Reiki energy, is to invoke higher power. Now, in the West, we might call that, for example, if you're Wiccan, Hecate, or Diana, or, the Green Man. If you're from the East, however, you might invoke Buddha or Kuan Yin. These deity forms, by Reiki standards, are all the same, because what matters is that you bring in the higher power, the life force, the Reiki, which means universal energy, is channeled through the Reiki practitioner, and we call upon the help of higher beings. One of the beings that I discovered in my Reiki studies was a mystical Buddha. Now, you should probably know, without getting too complex, that in Reiki is a Japanese healing art form, and it descends from Shinto and Buddhist practices. The founder of Reiki was Master Usui, and I'll put a picture of him up here for you. This is the founder of Reiki. Master Usui is considered the spiritual teacher to all the followers of Reiki. He is our guru, or you might say he's like a spirit guide to us. So all people who practice Reiki or receive healing through Reiki owe an immense debt of gratitude towards Master Usui. So Master Usui is also, or can be, it's not required, but can be invoked in Reiki healing work as well. But even greater than Master Usui was the Buddha. Now, many of you know the Buddha, Gautama Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, also known as Shakyamuni Buddha, who founded Buddhism 2,500 years ago. But do you know, if you study the Buddha's teachings in the Mahayana school, which means the greater vehicle, the Buddha revealed in his lifetime that there were countless Buddhas, thousands upon thousands of Buddhas throughout the cosmos. There actually happens to be a mystical Buddha who is often invoked in Reiki, who is known as the medicine Buddha or the healing Buddha. This healing Buddha is an amazing being. He is what is considered a cosmic Buddha. He is a primordial Buddha. This is a Buddha who existed before the earth existed. And many mystics and Buddhist sages have seen him and encountered him. His color is very distinct because he glows with a radiant blue light. He is known as the Lord of Lapis Blue Light. Lapis is a stone, of lapis lazuli. It's a brilliant blue stone, and this Buddha has the hue of brilliant lapis. Some scholars say that he saw that the light or the appearance of this Buddha is also equal to a sapphire, a brilliant blue sapphire. So whether he's the Lord of sapphire light or lapis light, this Buddha takes on a mystical, beautiful blue tone. Let me put some pictures up here for you so you can see this Buddha. So as you can see, this Buddha has a mystical form. His body is literally made of blue light. He is a celestial Buddha, which means that he exists in higher dimensions. But many people in the Reiki community have found that through calling on this Buddha, that they are empowered to a greater degree in their healing work. I've been spending time getting to know this Buddha, and I'd like to share with you a little bit about him and how you can work with him. Now, As you know, Buddhism came to Japan via Korea and China from India. Long path. But anyways, Buddhism originated in India. So the names of the celestial Buddhas, actually most of all the Buddhists have two names. They have their original Indian name in Sanskrit, and then and at least in the Reiki school, they have a Japanese name. So this blue Buddha, his Indian name is Guru. Let me make sure I said that right. Guru, that's it. That's his Sanskrit name. Now, I have trouble with that name, and thank God that I love Japanese, because I checked out the Japanese name. The Japanese name of the mystical blue healing Buddha is Yakushi. 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 I'll have the name in the info box below. But I like that name Yakushi, because that's easier for me to remember than Guru. So Yakushi. So in Buddhism, when they want to hail a Buddha, they use the word namu, which means hail in Japanese. Namu Yakushi Butsu. Hail Yakushi Buddha. So hail the Buddha of healing light. Now I've been watching a number of videos about Yakushi Buddha, and he's very popular in Tibet. And the Dalai Lama oftentimes give initiations into Yakushi's mantras and practices. In the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, you can choose a deity. It's your chosen God form. And you have a ceremony and you're united with that form. And you can pray to him and call on him. Reiki is interesting in that Reiki doesn't define who you have to call upon. But many Reiki practitioners have found that through researching the history of Reiki, that it does appear that Yakushi Buddha has a connection with the school of Reiki. Now, a lot of this has been lost in modern day Reiki practice, but I have a book which I'll show you here in just a little while that gives more detail on it. Now, the reason why I think this is important is that many of you have written and said, Psychic Bob, I really feel like I want to have a deep and mystical experience with a deity form, but I'm not really connecting to the Western forms. Some of you said you tried to pray to Pan or to Isis or Dionysus or Thor, and you're just having some struggles. That's okay. Maybe your soul has a little more of an Eastern bent to it. I've always loved the Eastern deities, and so the blue Buddha, Yakushi, is a form of deity. In fact, in Tibet, they call this a deity. It is a Buddha, which means a being of enlightenment, but this is greater than just any regular human Buddha. This is a celestial Buddha, a cosmic Buddha, the higher form of Buddha. And so it's very much a God form in a sense. Now, I know traditional Buddhists would say Buddha is not a God, and that's true. But if you get down into it, when we talk about the attributes of Buddha, in certain Mahayana schools, they believe that the Buddha, the historical Buddha, Shakyamuni, was an emanation of a greater Buddha, of a cosmic Buddha. So the Buddha exists in three forms, which will be have to be a whole separate video. But think of it that the universe is filled with many Buddhas, and these Buddhas are so ancient and powerful. They are literally like gods. They have all the abilities of gods: eternal life, healing power, magic power. And so Yakushi Buddha, I think, classifies as a magical God form Buddha. And as I said, in Tibet, they call him a deity, and they say you should pray to him. So Yakushi is a deity form that you might want to explore working with. Now, let me just clarify, you do not have to be a Buddhist to pray to Yakushi. You don't even have to be a Reiki practitioner. But I will tell you, if you are exploring Reiki, I think you would do very well to explore bringing Yakushi Butsu into your practice. So how do we work with Yakushi? Well, let's look at some ways we might connect with him. Come on along. So if you want to work with the mystical healing Buddha, or he's also called the medicine Buddha, you might want to set up a little shrine. Here I am right next to an altar that I've created. So here is my healing Buddha altar. Let's take a look at it. Let's go a little closer, shall we? Well, as you can see, I have a table here that I've used, and I've covered it with a beautiful cloth. This cloth cloth is from India, and it looks a lot like the Dharma wheel. It's kind of hard to see here, but it's like a big circle, and it has an energy like a Dharma wheel. And let me just walk you through this here. So on my altar, of course, let's start with the middle. There's, of course, the mystical blue Buddha. As you saw pictures earlier, that's what he looks like. There's one of my pictures, and as you can see, he's got that rich lapis sapphire blue color to him. And if you work with him, of course, and you choose him as a deity, you want to make him the center point of your altar. Now, I also have incense here. So I got to light some incense. I'm burned down here. But I have an incense burner and then candles. And it's traditional to have candles on your altar. They call them lamps, lamps of light to honor the Buddha. Now, what else do I have? So I have incense here, I have candles, okay? And then over here, because I am a member of the Reiki school of Dr. Usui or Master Usui, I have a picture of him as a spiritual guide to me. And over here, it's a little hard to say, I gotta get a better frame for this, but that's the kanji symbols for Reiki. I can't really show it here. I need to get as I said, a better frame. But, so there's Master Usui, and I keep him on my altar as to be thankful for his lineage of Reiki. Then I have, of course, the mystical blue Buddha. I also have the historic Buddha, Shakyamuni, who is the earth form of the celestial Buddhas who appeared on earth 2,500 years ago. The traditional historic Buddha, Gautama Buddha, or Shakyamuni as he's often called, is also considered one of the 7 healing Buddhas. I should say that Yakushi heads a clan of like 7 Buddhas, and he's one of the 7. He's the leader, and Shakyamuni Buddha is also considered one of the healing. So to honor the Buddha, because I love the Buddha in whatever form he comes, I also have the historic Shakyamuni Buddha. Isn't he serene looking? Look at that. So any of the Buddhas can be honored, but I always felt an affinity with the Buddha, and so I incorporated Shakyamuni Buddha into my altar. Now, I also have here a blue candle, and I would recommend that if you're going to work with Yakushi Buddha, that you have at least one blue candle on your altar to signify the healing ray of blue light. This Buddha emanates blue light from his body, and many people, when they do visualization of him or encounter him in meditation, they say that he raises his hand in blessing and that rays of blue light come off of him. So having a blue candle helps you to tune to his frequency, and you can make that as an offering to Yakushi. Okay. Now, the other thing that I do on my altar is I like to offer water. And I have here a beautiful Japanese blue bowl. This is blue amari. You don't have to have a blue amari bowl, but I would encourage you to have a bowl of water that you offer to the Buddha. And if you do Reiki like I do, you can infuse it with Reiki energy. Now, this water in this bowl has been Reiki infused. And so this is an anointing water. Actually, you should probably have 2. I got to get another bowl because I just set this up last night. But I'm going to have a bowl that I keep next to him as an offering. And then I'll have the second bowl that I have access to. And with this water, you can use it to anoint yourself, to bless yourself. And it's like holy water. You know, like many of you who've been to Catholic Church, you dip your hand in the holy water. Well, you can do that. And if you have infused water that's infused with the energy of Yakushi Buddha, then this water will help heal you. It's anointed, blessed water. Drives away negativity and everything. Again, I would encourage you, if you can, try to find a bowl that is blue in color to keep in the kind of energy sphere of the blue light. Not that you have to. You could have any type of bowl, but just something I find that sometimes the little things like that make a little difference. So, and then the other thing that I have here on my altar is a singing bowl or a bell, and I like to ring that when I meditate. Isn't that beautiful? And if you wanted to work with Yakushi or Yakushi, depends on how you want to say it, Buddha, you could chant his mantra, Namu Yakushi Butsu. Namu Yakushi Butsu, 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 Nam 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 Nam. Now, in Japanese, many times they abbreviate their mantras. They get them down to almost what they call seed mantras or basic syllables. So I've kind of abbreviated that mantra down to Nam Yakubu. So Namu can be abbreviated to Nam, Yakushi to Yaku, and Butsu to Bu, which is actually commonly done in many of the Japanese mantras. So we could chant Nam Yakubu, Nam Yakubu, Nam Yakubu, Nam Yakubu, Nam 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 Yakubu. Nam Yakubu, 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 Nam Yakubu. And while you chant your mantras, you can visualize him sending healing blue rays to not only yourself, but if other people have asked you for healing help. If you have a friend that's in the hospital or an elderly person that needs strength, you could pray to this Buddha for strength for them as well. So Yakushi Buddha is a very powerful and mystic being. And I've been getting to know him the last few weeks, and I really feel a deep connection to this Buddha, the Buddha of blue light. So I just want to bring this to you today, and it's an offering. One, I give it in Thanksgiving. I teach this video in Thanksgiving for my receiving Reiki training and in appreciation for the gifts of the Buddha and Master Usui. So there you go. So if you want to, set up a little altar, you might explore working with this Eastern God form. I think it will really bless your life. Nam Yakubu, Nam Yakubu, Nam Yakubu, Nam Yakubu, Nam Yakubu, Nam Yakubu. If you'd like to learn more about the Healing Buddha, this is a book that I'm reading that I recommend, Reiki and the Healing Buddha. And you'll see on the cover has a beautiful picture of him. It's by Maureen J. Kelly. Now, I got to tell you, this is not light reading. This is kind of an advanced book, and you probably should do a little bit of preliminary reading on Buddhism, Shinto and Taoism, and some Reiki before you get this. Because the one thing, now I love this book, but I think that for somebody who's never heard of any of this book would be hard to follow. But because I've studied Buddhism and Shinto and Taoism for a long time, I totally understand a lot of what she's talking about, but I always say give it a go. If you have trouble with it, do some research more on Buddhism and on Shinto and Reiki before you get into it. But I think this is a wonderful resource to get to know more about the mystical power of the Buddhas and the healing Buddhas. This book goes through, as I said, is very detailed, goes through all the 7 healing Buddhas. This, of course, Yakushi is the main Buddha, but they also talk about each of the 7, and that's why I was telling you I also have the historic Gautama Buddha on my altar, because he's listed as one of the healing Buddhas. So yes, you can call on the Buddha and pray to him. Many people all over the world do, and I know that in America it's very in a lot of Buddhist circles they're like very secular and humanist, and they don't believe in praying to Buddha. They'll say Buddha's just a man, he's dead, there's no permanent self. But I'll tell you, in the East, the more I study the Eastern traditions, as far as I'm concerned, Buddha is a God form. And I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking of him that way, because I think the evidence, when you study the teachings in depth, there's a lot more to him than just being a wandering preacher. He's very profound, very mystical. And many people have had mystical experiences. So whether you pray to Shakyamuni Buddha, or to Yakushi Buddha, all of the Buddhas ultimately are one, really, the truth is. So if you've been searching for a deity that you could pray to and feel connected to, you're just not finding one in the other traditions, you might want to truly explore these Buddhas. I find they're a great addition to my spiritual journey and my Reiki practice. So there you go. Nam Yakobu, Nam Yakobu, Nam Yakobu. Well, guys, I have had such a great time with you today, and I hope you've enjoyed this as well. Please remember to help me out. Like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe. Also, if you haven't done so, make sure to visit my website, PsychicBob.com, and you can register for my psychic development class. This Saturday, I'll be holding a class. I'm going to be teaching on how to connect with spirit guides, and you can register for that over at my website, PsychicBob.com. Just scroll down, you'll see a PayPal button. It'll say Psychic Class. Click on that, enter your information, and you'll be in the class. On Saturday, I'm going to send out a link before the class, and that'll bring you in. We're going to do it through Zoom. Don't worry if you don't have Zoom. It's all automated. When you click on the link, it'll bring you in the classroom. And my price for the class is $30, and you can register via PayPal through my website. So I hope you'll do that. I look forward to seeing you guys. Well, listen, I've got to wrap it up. Listen, tell me in the box below, have you ever worked with the healing Buddha? Are you familiar with Yakushi Buddha? Do any of you out there pray to Buddha, or any of you Wiccans who also work with Buddha? I'd love to hear. Tell me in the box below. Let's have a discussion. I love you guys. We'll see you back here tomorrow for Vlog Thursday. Just be here. We'll have an adventure. I love you guys. We'll see you then. Blessed be.